Welcome to Let's Write This Movie, where we write a screenplay
while sharing the process with the internet.
I am your screenwriter, René Garcia.
And I'm your collaborator, Brian Glass.
Now, let's write this movie. Hello, Brian.
Hello, Renee. Welcome to Let's Write This Movie.com.
You know, I realize every time I put up a blog post and I write the little tagline, Let's Write This Movie,
Yeah.
I kind of miss saying it. I know it's in every episode because it's in the canned intro.
Right. We do that live every time.
What's that?
We do that live perfectly every time.
Oh, right. Did I just spoil the magic for everybody?
Wow, man. Letting them behind the scenes.
I know. Well, that's what this whole project is about, right, Brian? The process?
That's true.
The process
but you
of
missed saying it
lies.
a second time.
Yeah, well, I just miss saying it live, that's all. Oh, wait, are we still doing the magic? Sorry.
This is all magical, buddy. This is all magic.
A little slow in the uptake tonight, Brian.
It's all right, man.
So,
You're
Brian,
wearing gray. You're wearing gray. It throws everything off.
Oh, I know.
You should be wearing black. Black,
Exactly.
black, and only black.
Yes, black.
Which is weird because I typically don't see color.
Because you're colorblind? So, Brian,
Renee,
I wasn't sure if there was more banter.
that was the banter.
How was your week?
My week was busy. I was in New Orleans this week. So yeah. So and it was right before Mardi Gras. So very busy and very colorful. I guess it's a big thing citywide in terms of decorating everything and people like wishing each other happy Mardi Gras. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, unless you're there, you just don't know that. So I was wishing people happy Mardi Gras. So, but yeah, I guess that's technically Tuesday next week.
Tuesday next week. Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Have you
the
ever
day before Ash Wednesday.
Have you ever been to Mardi Gras, Brian?
No.
Me neither. I'm told, however, by people who have been, that you should never wear pants that you care about. Like pants that you aren't willing to throw away the next day. Because apparently, and I don't know if this is still the case, I heard this story a long time ago, maybe a decade plus, that the streets are just so filthy during the celebration, and you have no idea what is, in the streets.
Yeah.
What kind of
liquids.
Matter. Okay, biomatter. That, like, the cuffs of your jeans will just be ruined. Like, you've just been, like, stomping through human sewage all night.
Yeah.
I'm like, oof. Who wants that?
All I can tell you is I've not gone for Mardi Gras, but I have gone, I think just like in the summer, my first trip to New Orleans. And, it was a weekend night, I think. And we went out. A guy took me there, and I was immediately turned off by the smell.
Okay.
So I'm like, wow, this is really strong.
Wow.
And he said basically all these things over here, this is where they hose everything down every night. Yeah. Sorry for anyone in New Orleans who's watching, but that's a little bit beyond my happiness meter. That's a bit much for me. So I stay out of the French Quarter.
Brian?
Urine.
Oh, it's urine? Okay.
Yeah.
Then that's very disgusting.
Strong urine.
Strong urine.
Yeah, man. Like, inescapable. When you go to those public restrooms because you just can't, you can't hold it any longer. You have to stop.
Right.
And you're like, oh, you wouldn't want to touch anything, even like, your pants. You feel so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like blocks of that. How was your week?
Well, before we get to that, what are the little pillow-shaped, like, pastry things? Beignets? Is that what those are called?
Yeah.
Am I saying that right? Beignet?
Yeah.
Did you have any of those, Brian? I hear they're supposed to be the best there.
I've had them in the past. They're good.
I mean, that's the thing. I feel like it's one of those things that, why couldn't you just make that anywhere and have it taste the same? Are they using special sugar, flour? The urine infused flour dough?
It's a particular climate longitude, latitude, the way they all come together perfectly.
Oh.
Don't allow you to make that, that pastry with
Right.
powdered sugar.
Right.
Elsewhere.
Almost made it, man. You almost made it.
The only place you can make it is like on the corollary in terms of the southern hemisphere.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think Brazil, you can do it in Brazil.
Nice.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Somewhere in South America.
All right.
Yeah,
so
they're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. It's food.
Sorry again, New Orleans.
My week. So my week was fine. I overestimated how easy it would be to get to the end. I think maybe there's a part of me that doesn't necessarily, like, subconsciously, like, I don't want it to end. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to wrap it all up.
Seems fairly conscious, man.
Well, now that I'm kind of like, well, really, I'm just trying to find things to say. I think I just overestimated how easy or hard, or actually how easy it would be to write these scenes. Because you know what? Killing a character, like a character that has been there since the beginning of the film, that's not easy. You shouldn't take that lightly. And I don't know why I was so flippant about it. Like, yeah, he'll die. It's whatever. It's not a big deal. We don't like him anyway. You know what I mean?
Who's Stan?
Yeah.
Or Sam?
Whoever, Brian.
One of those.
Yeah. They all sound the same.
Stan, I am. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? Whatever. Jan.
Jan.
Well, there's a lot more death coming, dude, if you're going to be like, trying to crank out the end by next week. Well, a lot of characters are going to die.
Well, no, that's fine.
Most of the characters.
Yeah. Yeah, almost all the characters that are alive right now.
If you're suffering over Stan...
Well, this is different, Brian, because there's like dialogue and it's supposed to be meaningful to other characters. These someone else is killing him, so another survivor is killing him rather than zombies.
Yeah, but like when Sally dies, that's going to be something that's going to take its toll on Zeke. There's going to be something.
Yeah, but it's so fast. There's no time to process. And Zeke is going to die with her. They're going to get blown up together.
Blowed up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well.
All right, Brian.
We'll see. We'll see if you. We'll see what happens next week.
Yeah, I think it's going to be less about the route or the path these characters take to their death, and more about word choice. I think that's what the thing that's going to be the thing that slows me down. I don't know why that would be the case, but if anything slows me down, it's going to be, just choosing the right words that fit 4 lines and try to wrap it up as quickly as possible.
Okay.
But I will say I did enjoy writing some of the dialogue in these pages.
Yeah. I like that there's a lot of dialogue.
Yes.
It was fun. It was fun with those 3.
I wrote, the part that I like is the soldiers.
Uh-oh.
What, you don't like that part, Brian?
I have comments about that part.
Oh, no. You never like it when these soldiers talk. And I'm like, dude, I had a feeling. I had a feeling you're going to have a problem with it. I'm like, you know what? This is great. Well, whatever. That's fine. Let's hash it out, Brian.
We'll hash post-performance.
Okay.
Not pre. I shouldn't have even told you that. I should have just nodded. Mm-hmm.
Well,
soldiers.
I had a feeling based on our banter. Like the banter, the energy feels a little forced tonight.
Oh.
And so that just made me think like, okay, Brian wasn't very happy with the pages.
Oh, no. Brian was gone for 4 days and a bunch of work piled up, and he's been trying to catch up.
All right. Well, let's make this a quick episode then, Brian.
No worries, man.
Right. No worries. Okay, well, before we get to the pages, if you have just stumbled on our show, please make sure you are subscribed and ring the bell for notifications.
Ding, ding,
Ding.
ding, ding.
What's that?
I think we've gone through this before, haven't we?
Ding, ding.
Ding, ding.
Nope.
That's come on now. That's Apollo Creed at the end of Rocky. You know, when they're it's just the two of them doing the fights right before Crest, right before the punch. You know, the there we go.
Rocky 1.
Yeah.
Oh, he says ding, ding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe it's 2.
Well, is it? This is.
No, I think it's the one with Clubber Lang. Now that I think maybe it was 3. I'm not even sure. Anyway, it's the one where he's gonna fight Apollo. That must be 3, right?
It's got to be 3.
Yeah.
It ends with them punching like this.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So like right before, it's like Rocky's like ring the bell, and Apollo Creed's like ding ding. Oh. I like the way you mouthed that when I did it.
Okay.
So you said ring the bell. That's what comes to mind.
All right.
I'm gonna put them on the thumbnail now.
Can you Photoshop our heads onto the?
Yeah, just give me a side profile so I can make sure I get that.
Let's do it this way. There you go. All right.
Hey, before we perform,
yes,
I have a request on page 123.
123. Let me just pull that up so people know what we're talking about.
Yep. It'll be there anyway in a minute.
Yep.
So after I give the little line, the action
Oh my
line,
God! Yeah. After you say that, yeah.
can you do the rest of that page without prefacing who it is? I think that the voices are so distinct that you don't have to, and I think you can kind of just enjoy the performance there.
Yeah.
That's a fun place to do it.
Okay.
So I know it's a little bit different, but I think it'd be fun.
All right.
It's a preview of maybe getting this acted out sometime.
Let me see if I can remember that when we get there.
You will.
Because you'll tell me.
Yeah, we'll go to right before I say the end of my line. I'll go ding ding
ding ding ding ding. Okay, Brian. Is there nothing else to talk about?
We'll have plenty to talk about.
Okay, so in that case, we're just going to start reading then. We're doing the performance, yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're going to start from Doc Murphy's.
All right. And is it up right now?
Yes.
I will alert our listeners and viewers that I have not practiced this, so this will be a little bit rough. I apologize.
That's fine. I haven't practiced either, Brian.
All right.
Let me drink.
Drink. The liquid of practice. Nothing.
What?
Nothing. All right. Interior. Doc Murphy's continuous. Long pokes his head out. It's teeming with monsters.
Long. No good. Fire's driving them here. Maggie. There's got to be another way. Stan. I have an idea.
Exterior, 9 Lives, back door. Minutes later. The group sneaks down an alley until they come to a door.
Everett. Where are we? Stan. 9 Lives. Everett. The whorehouse. Long. Great. How many of those things are in there? Stan. Those things were people. You watch yourself. Long. Those kids at the school were people. You killed them just fine. Why are we here, really? Everett. Stan, is this about Rebecca? Stan. The bar is across the street. We get through here, we're free and clear. Now, let's go.
Stan goes inside. Everett frowns but follows. Interior, 9 Lives, continuous. The main room is a bloody mess, with the corpses of men and courtesans strewn everywhere. Sorry.
You're fine.
Some men still sit in their seats with their throats ripped out. The room is dimly lit except for a bright spotlight aimed center stage. Tommy stops when he sees a dead courtesan with her skirt exposing a lot of leg. Maggie covers his eyes as the group moves forward. Suddenly, there's movement behind the curtains on stage. Everyone tenses up for a fight.
Everett, whoever's back there, come out.
The curtains rustle a moment until a woman pokes her head out. It's Rebecca. She's blinded by the spotlight.
Stan. Oh my God, Rebecca, you're alive.
He begins to move toward her, but Long pulls him back.
Long, wait. Stan. Get your paws off me. Rebecca, squinting through the light. Stan? Is that you? Stan. It's me, darling. Rebecca. Oh, come to me, baby. Long. No. Something's wrong. Stan. There's nothing wrong. Everett. Long's right. To Rebecca. Why don't you come out from behind those curtains so we can have a proper introduction?
Rebecca hesitates, but then steps out. She's still wearing her performance dress, and she looks absolutely pristine. She somehow avoided all the blood and horror.
Stan. See? She's fine. To Rebecca. Come on, girl. We gotta go.
Rebecca is about to go to Stan, but stops at the edge of the spotlight. She beckons Stan using all of her female charms.
Rebecca. Come to me, baby. I'm scared.
Stan begins to climb the stage when Long notices a look of anticipation cross Rebecca's face. Long turns and fires at the spotlight. The room dims, and Rebecca's skin scintillates in the dark. She glares at Long, then runs at Stan. Her jaws are almost upon Stan, who doesn't know how to react when another shot rings out, sending a bullet through Rebecca's head. She falls into Stan's arms, dead. Long and Everett approach Stan, who falls to his knees in shock.
Long. That was close. You're lucky.
Stan flies into a rage. In an instant, he's on his feet and sucker punches Long, who goes down. Before Long can draw his pistol, Stan stands over him with his own pistol drawn.
Stan. You son of a bitch! You killed her! Long. She was sick. Stan. No! You killed her to get back at me for your brother, you bastard! Now you're going to die!
He hears another gun cock next to his head. It's Everett.
You pull that trigger, and I will kill you, Stan. You taking his side again? I'm on the side of the law. You can tell yourself that. Not me. I'm doing what needs to be done. Cocks gun. He's not going to listen to you this time, Marshal. You're better than this. Put that gun down, Sheriff. He brings nothing but misery to this world. He needs to pay. Marshal, this isn't justice. It's murder. Someone has to do it. Marshal, he means it. God damn it, Stan. Don't make me do this. It's either him or me.
Everett clenches his jaw at this impossible decision. Then a shot rings out, lighting up the room momentarily. Stan falls over, dead. A bullet hole smolders in his temple. Ray and Chief watch in awe. Maggie comforts Tommy. After a moment, Long picks himself up.
Long, you made the right decision. Everett, glaring. Did I?
Maggie approaches.
Maggie. Everett, we need to go.
Everett holds Long's gaze before leading the group out. Exterior, Desert Ridge, continuous. Insert spyglass POV. Everett, Maggie, Tommy, and the others sneak out of 9 Lives. Back to scene. Jones looks through a spyglass. Jebediah stands next to him.
Jebediah. What do you see, Jones? Jones. Sir, I see survivors. There are women and a child with them.
He puts the spyglass away.
Jebediah. Fine. It will be over soon.
They stand quiet, taking in the scene. Trails of bodies lead from the town to the military perimeter, which only shoots occasionally now. The fires have burned nearly to the center of town. Whatever is left walking around is driven there.
Jones. Sir, permission to speak freely. Jebediah. Permission granted. Jones. Sir, are we doing the right thing? Jebediah. Yes. Jones. Do you really think they're all infected? Jebediah. You know my answer. Jones. It's just... I don't know if you believe in God, sir. Forgive me, but I've never seen you pray. But I do, sir. And I know that one day I'll have to account for all my actions in this life. What will I tell God, sir, about what we done here today? How I helped murder those people just trying to survive.
Jebediah lowers his eyes, deep in thought. Exterior, Sally Saloon, continuous. The survivors cross the street in a thin line. Their faces show weariness and fear, but also endurance and determination.
Jebediah, voiceover. You tell God that we are not all powerful beings, and that we did the best we could with what we had. Remember that, and go to God with a clear conscience. Oh, wow, let's try that again. And go to God with a clear conscience. May he have mercy on these last few souls. God, I totally butchered it there, man. Terrible. All right, Brian.
And scene.
Yeah.
Hey, man, it was nice to hear it performed. I felt like I kind of closed my eyes during that, and I was
just watching the show.
Yeah, just imagining people having a conversation. It was kind of neat to not hear the names as we did it.
I wasn't able to pay attention to the levels, so forgive me, everybody, if it is all staticky and clipping.
No,
because I was trying to pull farther
fine.
away from the microphone as I was yelling.
It's funny you say that, because at the end I'm like, why can't I hear very well? So I did turn it up, and all of a sudden he came back. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe he was just doing something different than his end. It's all right, man. I think
all right. I also wondered, what my neighbors were thinking.
All three of them are arguing today.
Exactly.
All right, man. So let's see. Okay, but on a serious note, with the Sam thing.
That can change, Brian. I'm not married to Stan. Stan's kind of like I'm not very happy. I'm content with the name, but it's not a name that sticks out to me. The more we do this, I feel like his character is a much bigger character than a Stan name. He needs a name that really pops.
Okay.
You know what I mean? My mind immediately goes to a biblical name, but I can't think of a biblical name that I would pick right now. But I think that's where I would go to, so that Western audiences would have some familiarity with it.
Okay.
Without it, and what I mean by that is, they would be familiar with it, but it would also still feel a little, I don't know, I won't say foreign, but yes, of the time, but, because even though it's distinctly a Western name, and also a Western with a capital W name, as in the genre of the movie we're writing, right? Yeah. But it would also feel, foreign. It wouldn't feel modern. You know what I mean? And so the foreignness of its age would make it stand out. In the way that when I run into someone who's young, right, who's younger than me, and they're named Emma or something like that, I'm like, what the heck? Why would that's so old fashioned, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. But I don't know what I would pick. But but here's the thing. I still I don't necessarily have a problem with Sam and Stan. I know I made a mistake here, but I don't think that has anything to do with the name sounding.
No, totally. Yeah, not at all. I was just saying because it reminded me, because early on I was having trouble remembering who was who.
Oh, okay.
And so I think if there's a way to, make sure that there's character between, there's some differentiation between them a little bit more, I think it would help the reader and the viewer as well. It's just funny that you picked Stan to change and not Sam, because I think Sam fits perfectly.
Yeah,
it's like he's short. A Sam.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's direct. It's to the point. It's very. It just fits. What can I say?
M is Sam. Stan, who knows what he's going to be?
Yeah.
All right. So I just wanted to bring it up because I thought that was something we probably should handle maybe for version 2. By the way, this is maybe the second or third time you've done this. It's a charitable thing that you do when you say, this movie that we're writing. But dude, you're writing it, and don't kid yourself. You're doing the work, not me. Well, I'm the guy who helps, but this is yours, bud. So I appreciate that, but I look at this as a solely by René Garcia.
Joint. All right, Brian. That's fine.
You like this? You don't like the Spike Leeification of it?
No, I don't.
The René Garcia joint. All right. So an interesting thing occurred to me on 120, right when
on the way to the forum.
An interesting thing occurred to me right at the beginning of 120, where we started here, where it says Long pokes his head out, blah blah, and Long says no good fire is driving them here. I was wondering, as soon as I read that, well, why aren't they trying to use fire to protect themselves? Would it be? I mean, is that something that I know it kind of throws a wrench into everything that you're doing, and it's not at all what you're intending. But I just thought, these are things that I don't know if we need to address or just leave it alone, because you can't explain everything.
Well, I mean, I could easily add a scene earlier where, one of them is using a torch to kind of like fend off some of the monsters, right? It's not that. I mean,
it's not going to kill them. It's just annoying.
No, what I mean is, there's a difference between like a conflagration, like a wall of fire, and someone with a torch.
Right.
So, I don't know if that answers your question, right? Like someone fending them, trying to fight off these monsters with a torch. That might be effective I don't know that would be any more effective than just fending them off with a stick. Right? Like it's like, I don't think the zombies, okay. Wow. A lot of thoughts running through my head here. So it depends on the kind of lore, the zombie lore you want to go with. In Night of the Living Dead, the zombies were afraid of fire. Right. I never understood that, because I always understood later on that zombies were just reanimated corpses and they don't really have any thoughts, right? But the George Romero zombies, they seem to have like memories, and they seem to have like some kind of thought process. So his zombies are a special kind of zombie that I don't necessarily want in this movie, right? I just want these zombies to be mindless, almost like flesh-eating robots, if you will, that are made out of a corpse.
Yeah.
Okay. So
especially after they've turned from being infected to being zombie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, why wouldn't they just walk through the inferno if these are the kinds of zombies that I'm trying to have in this movie? I don't know. I mean, maybe they are. I don't know. I don't have that explained. I don't know if I need to explain that though. Right? Like,
yeah. I mean, I guess the idea is that the conflagration will actually burn them to the point where they cannot walk any longer, right? So it will take care of them. So ultimately it'll kill them.
Yeah.
It has to, right? But one guy, is not going to bing ba-doom.
Hey, I got an email, everybody.
But I understand what you're saying. I mean, just in terms of the proportion.
Sure. Well, A, there's that, but then B, if I'm trying to describe a mindless thing that is like a robot, right? Why wouldn't it just keep walking through the fire? Why would it be cognizant of danger? I'm thinking, if I had to explain it, like let's say I'm at a press conference and someone raises this exact point, I think the answer I would give is it's that same kind of like base animal instinct that, that's driving it to eat living creatures. There is some kind of like minimal intellect that is preventing it, that makes it realize, okay, the fire will destroy this body, but someone with like a smaller fire, maybe we can overcome that.
Yeah, I mean, I like what you're saying. I think it's kind of going towards the idea of instinct, and prey is on this side of the fire. So I'm staying over here.
Yeah.
Where they are. You know what I mean? I mean, it could be something as easy as that. And that's why they're not scared of like a little fire. You're still the prey. I can see you,
Right.
So maybe it's something as simple and base as that.
Okay.
So maybe I answered my own question. But anyway, it was just something that kind of came to mind. All right. So let's go over to 121. I feel like I'm always making comments when it comes to the kid.
Oh.
So I apologize if it sounds like that.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Because certain things like, here's when I read this, I was like, this feels like a very Western thing that you wrote.
Okay.
Because they walk into a room, right?
Yeah.
Bodies are everywhere.
Yes.
Throats are slashed.
Right.
But then Tommy sees a leg.
Yeah.
Oh, made her cover up his eyes. I'm like, isn't this guy like freaked out by all the blood everywhere? Or is it the little tiny bit of sexual content that's going to, send him over the top?
Well, what's your comment about this, Brian?
My comment is I think that Maggie would probably put her hands over his eyes probably right away when they walk inside and see what's going, with the blood everywhere.
Sure. All right. So this is me, A, having a little bit of fun, and B, making a little bit of commentary on, we'll say, American values when it comes to the entertainment that we are allowed to consume in a certain way.
That's what I just said. It's a Western type of thing.
Exactly.
Okay. If it's purposeful, that's different.
Yeah. I know it kind of breaks immersion a little bit because Tommy has witnessed a lot of death and dismemberment up to this point. Right? He's effectively helped kill some of these monsters too by giving Long Stan's gun in an earlier scene. So he's kind of growing up really fast here. I think if I had to explain this and keep it realistic within the realm of this universe, it's that this is just a natural reaction from Maggie that she wasn't even thinking. It's reflexive. Like here's Tommy, who, his boyish curiosity is suddenly, he's looking at that rather than, all the dead bodies. You know what I mean? Like Maggie suddenly knows what's up and just like reflexively does that.
There's no stopping hormones.
That's what I mean. I know he's only 6, but whatever.
Wow. Oh boy. All right. Well, one alternative you could do is, taking the Tommy element out of it in terms of him driving that action and letting Maggie drive the action, which might drive your point home better.
Okay.
So instead of Tommy reacting to the leg, it's Maggie reacting to the leg and covering him. Even though he doesn't even know what she's doing. Like, Mom,
All right.
That's one way to do it, and that will definitely be more of a an underhanded slight at our culture.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. That's fine. Here's a sidebar. I
30-second story.
Maybe
45?
I haven't really thought this out, but it's probably 15 to be honest. I was working on another movie. It's the movie theater killer story. I told you about that, right, Brian?
Yeah. You didn't tell our audience, and don't.
Okay.
Not yet.
All right. So anyway, season 3. Anyway,
3. Wow.
Well, I don't know. I just threw that out there. Oh, you don't think we're going to be doing this past season 2?
I'm saying maybe it's 2.
Oh, well, we'll see. Anyway, I wanted to have a scene where, so this is more than a 15-second story now that I am like scooping up more stuff, like more foundational stuff. So I have a friend. The Mormon, actually. I only have one friend, Brian. So who's the other one?
Me, dude.
Anyway, so he when we were kids, he was all like he had this rule of not watching anything that was like graphically sexual, right? But he was totally fine with graphic violence, like people just getting dismembered and human butchery, right? It was totally fine. And so I was, he and I would just go in circles many nights about like the hypocrisy and all of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so in this other movie I was working on many years ago, I wanted to have a scene where our protagonist is watching a movie and it's a violent movie, and the shot is the shot is of his face, so we can't see what's on the screen, and he's sitting next to a family. It's a rated R movie, and when the sex scene starts, which will be conveyed to the audience through the audio, the parents cover their kids' eyes, and then later when the violence starts, and that's that's conveyed through like, the lighting in in the theater turning like red, right? And like just the sound of like a chainsaw and people screaming and stuff. The kids are allowed to see that.
Yeah,
and I wanted to have that be this commentary of, exactly, right? You can visualize it.
Of course.
Just this commentary on, why I don't understand why this standard has been set here in the West.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so different. And I think it's like backwards in Europe, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely.
Sexual is totally okay, but the violence is like, oh no.
Yeah.
So
you
much
remember
violence.
You remember when we were working with the European people, right? At our mutual job, and we were working with their advertising?
I do not.
Oh, so being very vague, we worked in a luxury product industry, luxury relaxation product industry, and
adult toys.
Oh yeah, not quite. Anyway, so we hired models here in the States, and we did our advertising, our marketing, right? People in bikinis or whatever.
Yeah.
With the Europeans, it's like they gave us their brochures. Like, whoa, hey, this lady's topless.
Oh, that's
Remember this?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Forgot about that.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
We were in the wrong place doing our photo shoots. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right.
So there you go. All of this conversation just on this little 2-second shot in this movie here.
It's one of the few things I bumped against on this, to be honest. I don't have a whole lot of notes today.
All right.
Just a clarification on 122, towards about 2/3 of the way down when I'm guessing it's Long shoots Rebecca.
Did I not say that?
You didn't state it. You stated that Long shoots the spotlight, but then there's another shot. And at that point I was thinking, and I don't like to read ahead and then go back. I like to read as I go.
Yeah.
So at that point I didn't know if it was Long or Everett. I figured it was one of them.
Yeah, that's a good point. I should have caught that.
Simple change.
Yeah. Well, okay. So very quickly, I enjoyed writing these pages because I had the opportunity. I took the opportunity, let's put it that way. I took the opportunity to actually direct the camera a little bit with the way I was writing it, right? So here, I wanted the shot, the camera shot, to be of Rebecca running at Stan, and then just there's without cutting away to Long aiming. I didn't want to have to write all of that. You know what I mean? And then I think I took for granted that the audience would just get it, and that's why I didn't insert something here where Stan looks at Long, who's got his pistol aimed at where Rebecca's head was. You know what I mean?
Right.
But if it's confusing, then I need to definitely fix that.
So when I read it through, I was thinking that you were doing exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
Where you've done that before, not necessarily misleading, but letting that sense of not knowing, not just occur to the person who's watching the movie, but the person who's reading it as well. So, I mean, for me, she falls into Stan's arms dead. Long and Everett approach Stan, who falls to his knees in shock.
You're lucky I'm a good aim. How he says that. You're lucky I'm fast.
I hear what you're saying. I was thinking more in the action, that we see Long's gun smoke, or something. So it doesn't have to be on point. Either way, I think it's fine, but I don't think you have to spend a lot of time on it. I just wanted to be absolutely sure that Everett wasn't the one, because he's justified too.
Oh yeah,
they're both justified. I mean, it's pretty obvious because he goes after Long.
Right.
It'd be funny if Everett did it. He's like, actually, hello, actually.
Yeah. I just want to kill Long, okay, Everett?
So, page 123 didn't really read too well for me.
It didn't read well?
Yeah, it kind of. I'm just kidding. So it's like there's not a note on 123. Right. Okay, so let's go over to 124.
You have no problems with this dialogue.
Nope. Wow. I know what you're trying to do, and I thought it was there.
All right.
I know you're justifying. You're justifying what he's about to do, and I mean that's hard, and I didn't have any problems with it.
Okay.
I think by this point I'm pretty much wrapped into these three characters, and I could feel Stan's bloodlust.
Yeah.
Even though he seems to be fighting himself because he's doing the villain thing, where he's just going on and cocking his gun and going on and on and on. Yeah. But I mean, that's okay. You have to draw out the scene. Otherwise it's going to be like a 3-second scene. That's enough. That's not a fun scene to watch. So, nope, I had no problem with it at all.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. So 124. Long says you made the right decision, and Everett glaring, did I? This is a ticky-tack thing, but I would just say that if you feel, I feel like it's okay without it.
Oh,
so you made the right decision and just taking it out, and Everett, instead of Maggie approaching, it's like Everett kneels beside Stan and shakes his head or something.
Yeah,
I don't want him to close his eyes. He opens his eyes. But maybe he kneels beside Stan as Maggie approaches, and then when he holds Long's gaze. Did I read that line? I don't remember even reading that line out loud.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Anyway, I just don't know if it was necessarily necessary.
No, you're absolutely right. I hear you. I don't even know if Long saying you made the right decision.
Took you long enough.
What?
Took you long enough.
Took you long enough? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. What I mean is, this is a movie moment, right?
I know.
Like, I mean, who would say that?
Right.
You just made a guy make an impossible decision, and you get up there like, yeah, you made the right decision. Good job. High five. You know what I mean?
Okay, but to defend what Long says,
okay,
he's been in a lot of high-stress situations as a robber, and he gets kind of flippant. So this is a high-stress, this is similar, even though it's his life in jeopardy. I could see him doing this.
All right. Okay.
I'm justifying what you wrote.
No.
I guess I could leave it, Bri.
Here's the thing. I wrote it because I thought it fit in a certain way, but I just want to know that there aren't valid arguments against it, I guess is what I'm saying,
I just think character-wise it makes sense.
All right.
Now, if he said it twice, I'd be like, come on, man. You made the right decision.
What if he said, you made the right decision? I never liked him anyway, or something like that. Anyway, okay.
Right. This next thing, that's just pedantic. I'm not going to talk about that.
Oh, tell me. What's wrong?
It's just a small thing. When we go, again, this is my limited understanding of how of script writing, but my understanding is when you introduce a scene, you should talk about that. You should have some sort of action that describes it. Oh. And so you go in the middle of 124, we're at the exterior desert ridge continuous.
Yeah.
But I was doing a little directing for myself, so as soon as Everett holds Long's gaze, I went right into the POV.
Yeah.
And then out into the desert ridge continuous where Jones looks through the spyglass. So it's kind of, I just reworked it a little bit.
No. And that's the thing. It's like, I don't know exactly how this should be handled, by a professional screenwriter. My decision making here is based on where is the scene coming from, right? Like, we are obviously looking through this through a spyglass, right? You're gonna be able to tell it's got that thing. Sure. But where is that existing, right? And so that should be where the slug line is.
Right. And so that's why I was kind of doing what you're doing earlier.
Yeah.
Where I was doing a little bit of the directing myself. Like, I don't want to tell them that. I wanted to tell them that after they see the spyglass POV, like, why does it feel like such a weird shot? I see them moving, but I don't feel like I'm there anymore. And then, we're in the desert ridge, and then Jones is looking. It's kind of a neat pull away from that scene and segue into this other piece with the soldiers.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I said, it really, it doesn't change the scene too much based on what I did, but
no, totally. I get it.
All right. So question at the bottom of 124. I just said, I didn't quite understand from a clarification standpoint where it says trails of bodies lead from the town to the military perimeter, which only shoots occasionally now.
Yeah.
When you're saying the military perimeter only shoots occasionally now,
yeah,
it's a perimeter of soldiers.
Yes.
Is that what that meant?
Yeah.
Because they also lit fires and their soldiers. I guess when I was reading it, I was thinking it's just these fires, with men. I don't know. It just seemed like there was a bit of an awkward structure there.
Well, let me just refresh our point of view here on the military perimeter. So when the military arrives, Jebediah orders Jones to, set up a perimeter. I want patrols every 100 yards. And then they place all of these guns as well, like on the main thoroughfares, I guess, in and out of town.
Yeah.
But I don't say it, but I don't write it. But I have to assume that they also set up, firing lines, around as well, just to catch any stragglers or whatever.
I guess it's just there's a little bit of a disassociation between a perimeter that's shooting. Would you consider like instead of the military perimeter to the perimeter of troops who only shoot occasionally now?
That's fine. Sure.
Should only shoot. Cool. Right, I made a note. All right, so let's get to the
part you don't like. The part about God.
Let's It has nothing to do with God. It has everything to do with all the cool stuff that's happening down in, with this small group of people.
Yeah.
And then being taken out of there to remind us that we have soldiers and the military presence there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's fine. I think that's good because, it's basically showing their resolve.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter if we have survivors, you know what to do. I guess when I was reading it, I was like, it felt like if this thing gets to 135 pages,
yeah,
I'm not going to miss this scene going away.
Okay.
I don't think it really adds that much.
Yeah.
Number one. I like the sentiment.
Okay.
I just didn't like being taken away from the action for like a minute because now it's so ramped up. I just want to be with our heroes and villains until the end and see, how that plays out. You know what I mean? So I think to go out of there temporarily and remind the audience that they're there is totally fine. In fact, I think it's kind of neat to pull out and say these guys are, watching them through their glass too, to make sure they don't survive. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because I'm guessing we're going to go see them again when the rest of town burns up and, they see no survivors, just to kind of lock that down. And now they're done and they're not going to be chasing them anymore. I think that's very cool. There's so much that is still about to happen and I'm in this action and I just had a really cool scene with, one lawman shooting another lawman.
Right.
I just don't want to spend too much time away from him, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay. I hear you. Ding.
I'm going to get a bell.
Yeah. I miss the ding, Brian, from our previous project. Okay. So, and I actually said this in the blog post I put up 10 minutes before we started recording.
Didn't you read it, Brian?
Yeah, did you read it? I am worried about the pacing because when we go back to the rescue from the schoolhouse, and then they do the getting ready montage in the prison, right? And then Long's like, I wish you good luck, right? And it's like, all right, let's get that rock music going, and they're gonna fight their way. That, in a different script or in like a perfect script, that should lead straight to the climax, and then we're done with the movie. Unfortunately, because I have these other things that need to be resolved, there's this kind of like ebb and flow, or crest and trough.
No.
Right?
Look at you.
No, we want trough. We want valley. Crests and valleys. You know what I'm saying, Brian? I
know what you're saying.
So, I'm already worried about the pacing. Okay? But knowing that I'm already kind of breaking it up, right? Because we got to go and deal with Doc, and we got to go and deal with Rebecca, and then we got to kill Stan, right? Mm-hmm. I am okay with pulling back and having, a scene that is outside of the main action to kind of deflate the tension, take it down a little bit because I still have to educate the audience once they're in the saloon. What's his name? Chief has to go and get drunk, right? They got to talk about how the cellar doors are made out of oak or whatever. It's going to take a while to cut through it. Then Sarah and Jimmy got to run in, right? And explain like, oh, they're coming. The hordes are coming. And then we have the big showdown. So, while I appreciate what you're saying here, and it is a concern. I don't know if this is going to work. Maybe this will have to go. I just didn't want it to be just a cutaway where they're just looking and we just know that there's this presence. I wanted them, I'm trying to tie up all the loose ends here. And this has been, this struggle with morality has been the through line for the soldiers anyway. And I just kind of wanted to wrap it up here. Plus, I like what I did here where when Jebediah is basically talking about, what to say to God, and it's a voiceover, right? And I know I didn't really convey it very well here, but, the visual is of the survivors, and we see they've come a long way. It's setting up that this is going to be a big showdown. We don't know who's going to survive because we're getting nice close-ups on everybody. And he, Jebediah says, may God have mercy on these last few souls, right? I just kind of like the setup for that.
I can't give you a strong argument against this. It's fine. It's just maybe it's what you're alluding to earlier with the pacing. And this is something that I might honestly not be able to really reflect on correctly until I read the whole thing in its entirety, because pacing is a little tough to get week after week.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yes, it is.
So I mean, I'm totally for leaving it. And I like what you're saying. I didn't like that there's this really interesting thing that's being said by someone who's not necessarily one of our main characters. There's some interesting stuff here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely in line with the rest of what they were talking about, and it goes in an interesting place. I almost didn't want it to be them saying it, I don't know who else could. So, you know what I mean? Because I like the writing itself. I just didn't know if it's going to play in the real movie or the whole movie. I say we leave it until
it's time to cut.
Yeah, because maybe it actually, maybe we'll need it. Who knows? When we read like the 30 pages before it in a row, it's like I need to take a breath, and it's like the perfect palate cleanser before we get into this next scene. I don't know. It's a little bit hard to tell, quite honestly. So I put my notes actually say I'm not sure if this is necessary. I don't know. So
I'm with you. This is. I'll say this was a little indulgent. This was something I wanted one of the iconic scenes since the beginning, which is, you know, a commander within the military basically ordering his troops to murder civilians indiscriminately.
Yeah.
To achieve a potential greater good. And how does the commander rationalize that to himself, right? Now, I know we've kind of done that earlier, but that's something that was always within the context of him making it okay for his troops. But here in this intimate moment between him and his lieutenant, where they're just talking as human beings to each other, what is this commander's thought process? It's not quite on the mark of that original idea, but just having this kind of like moment of honesty, I thought was important, or rather, I always saw it as integral to the story I wanted to tell. But writing is like 10% of the writing process. The other 90 is editing. So if this gets edited out, well, what can you do?
Yeah, I will say this. You make a good point. And the other thing is that all the pontificating earlier was somewhat in the abstract, because it was before anyone had been killed, and before anyone, a civilian or kids and women had been killed. And by this point, they had taken drastic action against the townfolk.
Yeah.
So there is some. This is in some ways a reaction to that reality that has gone from the abstract to the what's the word I'm looking for? To the
non-abstract.
To the non-abstract. But what I'm saying? So I think that is cool, and it certainly adds an interesting layer to them.
Yeah.
Because it's not that he realistically is an uncaring person. He's making the tough decision because he has to. And I don't know. I think, like I said, I think it was fine. It was interesting. Let's see how it plays within the whole thing. And I say, my reaction is to leave it. Other than that, in terms of notes, man, you're barreling to the end. I do have a concern about something that you said. I don't know how you're going to handle this, so maybe we can just chat about it for a second.
Okay.
So, Chief is going to go and drink.
Yes.
But the intention, maybe I make sure I answer this correctly. The intention isn't that he's going to act like a drunk guy at that point, right? It's just that he's going to be enjoying the taste of drinking again, because no one gets drunk that fast, even if he drinks right before battle, right? So,
yeah, that is a concern. Originally, they were going to be holed up here at the bar, essentially long enough for him to get drunk.
Okay.
Now, because the time is really compressed, and they don't have a lot of time before the hordes get there, I'm thinking, what I want to do is have him be out of the action for most of the fight until everyone else starts to get overwhelmed. Right? I want him to essentially almost be forgotten. Mm-hmm. And he's going to be almost like a Deus Ex Machina. Even though we know he's been there the whole time.
Yeah.
He's just out of commission because he can feel himself turning. He's going to look at his hand and see the infection is like creeping up through his veins. Mm-hmm. Like he'll see the actual veins in his arm turning black, kind of thing. And he'll just be like, screw it, I'm just going to drink. If I'm going to die, I'm going to enjoy my last few moments on the planet, right?
Yeah.
So as everyone gets overwhelmed, I don't know if that will, to the audience's mind, seem like enough time has passed that now he is feeling the effects of the alcohol. Just kind of like lean on the the movie time crutch, if you will, Brian, where you just, because you haven't seen a character for 2 minutes. Oh, it's been an hour, 2 hours. He can totally be drunk. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it could be a couple different things. It could be he's drunk, or he's just relieved to be able to drink again. You know what I mean? Like this is where he gets a satisfaction from, and even in moments of peril, he's able to enjoy this and do it on his own terms on his way out, something like that.
Sure. So the setup though is that because when he drinks, he's like an angry drunk, and he trashes everything, right? He just wants to fight because of the alcohol, which is why he's essentially an indentured servant to Zeke and Sally, because he trashed the bar, right? And so that's the setup for him for him drinking now and becoming, just this unkillable slayer of zombies at the last minute.
I guess one thing you could, if someone asked you after the movie, you could explain it as, hey, he's already been infected, so everything that happens to him takes immediate, effect. We don't know the rules, right? He's already got this other stuff in his bloodstream. This just,
Yeah, I think that's what
amplified everything.
That's what I'll say anytime I can't answer something. We don't know the rules, and just walk away, leave the press conference.
I said he was infected already. That's sort of playing within the rules, sort of, right?
Yeah.
We haven't seen that yet happen, yet. I don't know. Maybe it's whatever, when they get infected, what they really want becomes amplified, so he really wants the effects of the alcohol. Plain Jane really wanted her man. Rebecca really wanted, to be close to, and perform. I don't know. I'm making up rules here, buddy.
I love it.
Now when you're at the press conference, you're like, I got an answer for you.
I'll just call you up, put you on speakerphone. Hey, Brian, what's a good answer here?
Okay. He says, oh man. So, next week, I'm hoping that we can.
Oh wait, is that it? Nothing else?
On the script, that's it.
Oh, all right.
I didn't have a lot of notes.
Okay.
So I'm just thinking for next week, hopefully we can finalize the end of the story, just because I think we have a 2-week or 1-week hiatus after that, right?
Yes.
And I'd hate to make people wait an additional week.
Well, look, I know I flippantly said, I'll totally get it done by this week. No problem. I feel
so this time say no, probably it's not going to happen. Set the expectations low, and then meet them. No, I mean,
and then meet those low expectations. That's what I'm all about. I feel pretty good about finishing the story by next week. Well, let me just say, look, I will make a commitment to get it done by next week, knowing that we have some scheduling issues.
Yeah. I just hate to wait 2 weeks to.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Out. Plus, that'll be a great time to reread the whole thing and really let it, sink in again.
For you to read it, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, while you're away.
Yeah, I can really sit with it and the whole thing.
Yeah.
Nice. Read it a few times, give you some more thorough notes instead of just the little ticky-tack things.
Right.
Because I think by then we're going to be talking about larger concepts, characters, characters coming or going, scenes coming or going.
Yeah.
What's missing, pacing, all those bigger things that we don't really talk about too much.
I'm really not looking forward to essentially reviewing the entire script. It's just like, taking in a story in its entirety. Man, it's like you can't. It's not like you can do that in a sitting. Like, okay. Let me spend an hour doing it. You know what I mean? It's Absolutely. Like you're going to be flipping through pages and like trying to maintain the entire story in your head all at once.
Yeah.
It's just time consuming.
Yeah, I think for me, my plan is to read it several times during those couple weeks, And like the first time, read it all the way through without making a note, and then writing my notes afterwards as if I had just seen the movie and giving you a review of things I think stand out and things that, you know, are maybe problematic, and then going back and starting to really delve into it. So I kind of need to let it wash over me. So I'm going to dedicate some real time once I have the whole thing in my hands to do that.
Yeah.
I think that show that we have the 2 weeks later is going to be an integral show. You know what I mean?
Marathon.
Yeah. That's
3 hours.
We've done that before, right? 2.5.
Yeah. And that was only like over 10 pages. Multiply it by 10.
Well, that's not true, though. You know, because I think that the scenes themselves will play fine because we've kind of already done that. But, you know, it's just within the larger context.
Yeah.
Do they need to stay or go? Or, you know, like, God, I really wish this had happened here. Or
right.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it'll be like flawless. Except for the extra 15 pages.
So this is a good question. The pages I give you next week. Okay, never mind. It makes sense to wait until we get back together 2 weeks later before I start chopping it up to hit page count.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't do it yet. That's gonna kill you too. Plus you got to write the end and edit. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Way too much to ask.
All right.
We went straight through.
What?
We went straight through. Didn't even take a break or anything.
Oh, right. A break to plug the stuff.
Exactly, to plug.
All right. Well, let me just plug really fast, Brian. Let me just pull those stuff up. Okay. This is our website, everybody. Let'sWriteThisMovie.com. I typically post pages every week. And then we have, let me click something so you see what we do. Here we go. Okay, and I will typically write my thoughts on the pages, unless I'm feeling fatalistic and I'm just like, who cares? I'm going to kill myself. But the pages will always be there, regardless of my commentary. And that is where you can read and give your feedback in the form below. We are also on Twitter. Our handle is... Let me just pull it. There you go. Our handle is @WriteThisMovie. And I will also post links to our YouTube videos, our discussion episodes, and the new pages every week as well.
So let's dig in for a second on something you wrote. I just read your blog post.
Okay.
And you mentioned that the scene between Stan and Rebecca feels a little out of the blue.
Yeah.
Because we really didn't get to know the two of them together since they were only together in the very first act, right? Like the very beginning.
Yes. Well, yes, correct. Up until the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. I wonder how you certainly can't really bring her back in.
Well, so here's the idea, and I think we talked about it last week. In the hotel room when Long kills the other Yoo-Hoos, maybe he's going to make a comment about Rebecca, and maybe that can be a delayed retort to Stan making a comment about killing his brother.
Mm-hmm.
And that can precipitate Stan's flying into a rage, attacking Long and about to kill him before Everett stops him.
Mm-hmm.
So even though we don't see Rebecca, the thought of her is there. Like maybe, because Rebecca's wearing a specific dress, maybe one of the Yoo-Hoos is wearing a similar outfit because she's one of the performers. And I can have Stan like turn her over thinking like, oh God, is it Rebecca? And it's not her, it's a different one.
Okay.
Best I can think of right now, Brian.
Yeah, I think you're right. It has to happen. It has to happen on the Stan or whatever his name is side.
Yeah.
Of the equation. Donnie.
I'm trying to think of biblical names. Well, all I can think of are like cities. Corinthian. That's his name, Corinthian.
Yeah, I don't want to give you any ideas. This is like, that's your baby. I'm sure I'll come up with something cool. Come on, let's go, Deuteronomy.
Leviticus. I'm laying down the law.
Levi's not bad.
Oh, okay. Levi could work. I was thinking Adam. Adam is a good, solid name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adam. How's Adam?
Yeah. Nothing wrong with Adam.
Yeah, it's same character count. It's not going to... I can do a find and replace, and my script isn't going to like blow up all of a sudden. I've done that before, and I was like, oh, God, why is my script 125 pages now?
I can't think of like a really long name, to give you as a joke right now. But I did go to school with a guy named Guy Jurweatherwaravong.
What?
His first name was Guy. His last name was Jurweatherwaravong.
Wow.
So that'd be kind of a fun one to add in there.
Jurweatherwaravong?
Jurweatherwaravong.
Jurweatherwaravong? Say it again.
Jurweatherwaravong.
Jurweatherwaravong.
Jurweatherwaravong. Close enough.
Okay.
Guy.
Is he? What kind of last name is that? Is that Thai?
He was Asian. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No. A lot of Thai people have really long polysyllabic names.
Right.
I had a classmate. I don't know if he was Thai, to be honest, but his last name was Virachelukana.
Mm-hmm.
And we always, I'm always careful about like giving people's full names out on the internet, like without their permission. Like, oh, now they're gonna look this guy up because that's a pretty unique last name.
Yeah.
Anyway, we used to call him, basically, we would say his first name and then Alphabet. Is what we would call him. So Joey Alphabet,
Right.
I had another coworker. She was Thai. God, I can't remember her last name. It was so long. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, there you go. Long last names, Brian.
Well, in that spirit, René Garcia Jr.
Yeah.
René S. Garcia Jr. I guess we have gone long enough. Hey.
I got nothing else then, Brian.
Ding,
ding, ding. Okay, everybody, if you enjoyed the show, actually, hopefully you've done your part and you have already subscribed. No, Brian, don't you dare. We're not there yet. I'll stop recording right now.
No, you won't.
Hopefully you've already done your part and given us a thumbs up and subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, then please do so now. We could really use your support.
Shame on you.
Exactly. Shame.
What's wrong with you, people?
They're fine.
All you're doing is listening. It's not costing you anything for this entertainment. Just click the button, for Christ's sake.
They're not even listening, Brian.
Listen. Listen to hello. Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Wake up and hit subscribe. There.
You know what I do, Brian? I have my tablet next to my head at night, and I just play a really long video on YouTube.
Sure.
And that's how I sleep at night.
I do the same thing.
Sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night, and it's still going on. I'm like, my God, how long is this video?
Well, my favorite is when it's like a nice, relaxing one. All of a sudden, a commercial comes on. And oh, God, what's happening? And wake up. Okay, this is enough.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
What I've been trying to use is 10 hours of rain. I think 10 hours is probably too long.
Oh, you should.
You wake up, your tablet's all like the battery's dead.
It's just the whole thing's just on fire.
All right. Exactly.
That was worth it.
Could really use some real rain right now. All
Crackling
right.
sounds.
Enough, Brian. Enough.
All right, bud.
We will see you in the next episode.
Peace.